Meanwhile, President Biden doesn't care who you're living with as long as you invest your life savings into making your roof eco-friendly. On Saturday, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm gloated that the president's new Inflation Reduction Act would give Americans struggling to pay their current bills a discount on very expensive solar panels. Watch.
If you are low income, you can get your home entirely weatherized through the expansion from the bipartisan infrastructure law, significant expansion. You don't have to pay for anything. If you want heat pumps, insulation, new windows, that is covered. If you are moderate income, today you can get 30% off the price of solar panels. It's a significant incentive.
30% off at $25K. Where do I sign up? Of course, she's being roundly mocked because the average cost of installing solar panels, it's at least 20 grand, which means the Energy Secretary is bragging about giving low-income earners the chance to pay $14,000 that they obviously don't have. Is this administration out of touch or out of their mind, Sean?
Well, first off, I'm in Wisconsin right now, and in Wisconsin, there's a lot of people who can't afford food, they can't afford gas, they can't buy meat, they're not having chicken sandwiches, they're having mayonnaise sandwiches right now because things are so expensive. They don't have $14,000 sitting around for solar panels. This is absolutely idiotic, and I think most Americans understand to go, listen, we have oil and gas in America, but we know that batteries, turbines, and solar panels are made in China. Why are we outsourcing American power to one of our greatest, at least strategic enemies, China, as opposed to making America great, building America up with American jobs, with American energy? It makes no sense to them. And when you've driven inflation through the roof, they can't afford anything right now. And by the way, when you talk about giving all this free stuff to poor people, they don't own homes. They're renting.
That was my question. Exactly.
They don't have a house.
But that's actually a really good point, and I want you to speak to that, Marie, because the lowest income earners, they don't own their homes. If they're renting, they can't call the federal government and say, you know what, just throw a few new windows in here and a heat pump and maybe some solar panels on the roof. They can't do that. This is when the message is utter nonsense and incredibly out of touch and heartless. Marie?
Well, we do have a housing crisis in this country. You are right about that. And across the board, inflation is actually getting better, particularly gas prices, which every day are coming down, which is a good thing for all of us. Look, it is renewable energy is getting much more affordable and is getting made more increasingly in the United States. So it's getting easier for many people, but not everyone to afford. And in the long term, it actually is better financially, both for individuals and also for our country. Look, the costs we are going to have to pay to continue to deal with the climate crisis and the things that are happening in our country, from these record floods we're seeing, droughts, rivers that are drying up. Yes, it is expensive. It's more expensive in the short term to outfit some homes with things like solar panels, but in the long term, the climate crisis is much more expensive.
So why not go nuclear, Spike?
Thank you. Literally, that was, I mean, you just took about 40 seconds of what I was going to say right there. Then go nuclear. It's the cheapest, most grid stable, safest, most carbon neutral form of energy. If they were serious about this, about the climate change, if they were serious about energy prices, all they would talk about is deregulating nuclear, but they're not, because they're not serious. Now, on this, they can't afford solar panels, or much less the homes to put them on. It's absurd to talk about this. You know, Marie Antoinette said, you know, let them eat cake, and you see what happened to her. And now this person's saying, Granholm saying, let them eat solar panels, basically. The idea, this comes from the mindset of someone who didn't occur to them that not only does the person that they're talking, and she even said low-income people. This wasn't misconstrued. She was saying that the poorest people in this country should look forward to the fact that they could save thousands of dollars on their 5-figure home solar panel package. It's just absurd that she said it. It reminded me of back in, I think, 2011 or 2012, when Obama told someone on the campaign trail who was complaining that he couldn't afford the cost of fuel in his van that he used to drive his 8 children around, and Obama told him he could get a Prius. Like, it is a total disconnect from the reality of life. And without government, how would we have a bunch of out-of-touch politicians telling us how to live?
Around. Yeah, well, Buttigieg, everyone should just get an electric car because Teslas are great, except Elon Musk is a Nazi.